remembered so much as the time of toxic waste, but as the time of rejection of the cure of the problem. That whereas it's true that we have women on our side, we are women on our side, we are intellectuals, we are ideas on our side, what we're lacking for the cooking is the fuel and the monetary power. See, the gross national product is wasted on the military-industrial complex. The defense budget is 60% or whatever. So as a matter of fact, how many resources are devoted to the survival of our evolutionary bottleneck? Hardly a drop, you see. And I think it has arrived at this situation, which may well be remembered as the key bottleneck problem, is that somehow the resources, no matter how much will increase the awareness of the problem, and everyone will express a concern about it and so on, that the resources are always going somewhere else. How can it be that, for example, a place like Esalen Institute or Ojai Foundation and so on, institutions seminal to the change of consciousness, are starving for lack of resources, when there are many people among us, you see, who might, by accident of birth, whatever, be billionaires, or be involved in huge corporations, or have finger on the direction of flow of enormous resource, while giving 10 or 15 cents, while giving maybe a fraction of the lifetime and so on, have not made the connection in such way as to divert huge power of money, the fuel, to do the cooking, so that these ideas, which actually, I have no doubt, comprise already the solution to the problem, is here on earth among us. We are not waiting for the divine appearance, male nor female. See, everything is already here, maybe. We don't know until we get a chance to try. So basically nothing is being tried because there's no fuel for the cooking. When it might happen, we might see in the newspaper, even the day after tomorrow, that some huge gift by a totally unknown person has been made to such and such, Botanical Dimensions has received $14.5 million for its operating budget for this year. Let us see, you see, that the fuel is put under the well-prepared pot, and see if we cannot cook up a future. Then I have no doubt how it would be. So I think that there is going to be a catastrophic moment sometime in the future when resources are massively diverted to this alternative survival strategy that Terence has summed up under the name exotic solutions.
Sir, I disagree completely. There are a large cadre of people in high technology who are subverting the government's resources. Corporations that I work with to raise millions of dollars will sit down and tell me that 25 years from now they want to build the first starship. They are well aware of what they are doing with respect to computers and high technology, and we are taking over. We are taking over the technology, people who feel like what we have talked about. We are still too young to control those capital flows, but both Ellen and I make decisions on millions and millions of dollars a year in terms of who gets what kind of money, and we are not alone. We may take more tryptamines than any of those people do. We don't have significant different views over what Ellen just expressed or over what Terence just expressed. One of the guys whose only drug of choice is cocaine is saying that he is saving up a space to move, to retire to Luna City, that he plans to build with his millions that he's making. There are people there. This whole strategic defense initiative is being subverted. Most of that money is going to be spent in such a way to promote the industrialization of space.
That's good to hear right now. That's good to hear, of course.
And that's
right
my life in business, is making that happen.
Right now, the state of the highest technologies are used to pinpoint marijuana crops in Northern California.
It certainly is.
Wiretaps, where the use of wiretaps led to the largest LSD bust in history. One hears that the military was experimenting with most of the psychedelic drugs. Adam, for example, 30 years ago. Adam was synthesized in Germany in 1914. More drugs were synthesized there in Central Europe.
But if we all divorce ourselves and become politically correct and politically pure, we'll all be destroyed. And I have to sully my hands by working with people who have defense contracts. But is it better to get a few $1 million for something that's going to create robots that can build L5s, or for me to go off and sit in the corner and do DMT every day for the rest of my life, which I'm economically capable of supporting myself to do that? We talk about how are we going to have this happen. We live in an industrial society that will destroy us if we do not co-opt it.
Well, I agree with you that the Strategic Defense Initiative is a co-option of the military. It is entirely, billions are going to be spent on things which won't work, but you're going to have to put 20,000 people into space to figure this out. And once you figure out that it doesn't work, they'll all be there. And in the meantime, you will have figured out all kinds of nifty things that will work, which make the original idea seem childish and stupid. I really do think it's a Trojan horse for Starflight. And, I mean, they basically, I mean, I'm not defending it entirely because I think it was fairly cynical. These Fortune 500 corporations that Phil is talking about said, well, if we had a $20 trillion investment over 20 years, we could produce a space-based civilization. But we don't have that kind of money. No private company or consortium of companies has $20 trillion. So what can we do? Well, why don't we create the notion of an arms race and loot the American taxpayer's pocket to pay for it? We'll just get all those people riled up and take the money, and downstream we will have transformed capitalism so that it can survive for another 1,000 years. I'm not hopeful that millions of dollars will come to Botanical Dimensions, but I feel that we laid out a budget of around $100,000 for each of the next 2 years, and I'm reasonably hopeful that that can be met. In other words, we've only been fundraising 6 weeks. Our initial goal was $10,000 by December. It appears that we've exceeded that goal now. I think that it will go. Arthur Young once asked me, what would I do if I had $20 million? And I said, give 15 of it back to whoever gave it to me, because I can't manage $20 million. My plan is this plan, $5 million. But it is true that I think all of us who work in ideas, like I have other projects in my life not related to Botanical Dimensions, that I will not and could not apply that money toward, but that I apply my own money toward. Publishing, I'm thinking of. Ralph is in the same position. You're probably in the same position. We all have starved to death little ventures which piddle along as we can. Nothing moves faster than us getting the money together. And there are many, many people like this in this position. So the point is well taken that if some of the money could be broken loose, well, it's just the tragedy of the 20th century is that the most wealthy age in history is the most destructive, and the amount of capital tied up in the standing crop of metals and armaments is like nothing ever before seen in the history of the planet. It is irrational, carried to the nth degree.